Hey guys, Jamie here from Start Riot, and I'm here with Bryan and Isaac from Not Loose. Guys, welcome to Manchester.
Thank you. Hey.
You've this is kind of towards the end of a very long tour. You've been out with Every Time I Die and Comeback Kid for a good few weeks now. How have the shows been?
Oh, they've been awesome. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been cool to be able to come back here and play some places that we've never played before in the UK and in mainland Europe. And yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's been cool. It's a bit of a different demographic people-wise than our last one. I think the crowd is a bit older, and we always love being able to play to some new faces and kind of branch out to some people that have never heard what we're doing before. And it's always really cool to do that. Yeah.
Is it nice to be playing like bigger venues with these guys as well? Because obviously you did Warped Tour, which is like a huge tour, and then like you did the Counterparts Tour here, which is kind of like mid-sized venues, and now you're getting to play like huge rooms, like 1,000 people. Was it Coco the other day in London as well? It's a big room.
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah, Coco is insane. It's one of those. It's like built into the ground, and so you just look up, and it's just like about 6 stories high of just insanity.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's been a great tour, and it's awesome to be able to play like bigger venues because that gives you the opportunity to play in front of more people. But it's like a double-edged sword. Like you want more people, but you don't want a barricade. You know what I mean? Like with us, like this is only our second time over here, so like we're still very much like growing and trying to get our name out. So like there's not as many people here that necessarily care about us as they do Every Time I Die or Comeback Kid. So like that's where like us personally we might benefit more in a smaller room, whereas these like giant rooms. But with that being said, it's still been very sick. We've still been playing really awesome shows, and we've been able to expose our music to way more people than we would have been able to.
And all the touring has come in the wake of your first album, Laugh Tracks, not Loose. That's the name of the band. Yeah. Laugh Tracks, which came out just over a year ago on Pure Noise Records. It's an excellent album, like fucking sick. Like that album, and then Code Orange's Forever came out like a few months apart, and those are like 2 albums that have really like got me back into really heavy music, which is fucking sick.
Yeah, very cool.
How does it feel to be kind of part of this like new wave, along with bands like Counterparts, who just released You're Not You Anymore as well, which is fucking sick?
I think it's awesome. I think that possibilities for heavy bands nowadays are like way more attainable than they used to be. Like you have bands like Code Orange, who like is playing like stadiums, and like they just announced that they got nominated for a Grammy. Like I don't know if you saw that, but like, or like us, like the fact that we played Coco and there was like 1,500 people there. Like you never start a heavy band saying like, yeah, I'm gonna play stadiums one day. Like it's just not like in your timeline. But now things like that are possible. Like us coming over here 2 times in a year is possible. You know what I mean? Like we already know when we're coming back, and like that alone is crazy to know that we get to travel as much as we do. So like it's awesome. Like all the bands that we're friends with that are doing so well right now, like Counterparts, Stick to Your Guns. Like Stick to Your Guns is touring Europe right now and playing to like 1,500 kids a night. Like they're doing so well, and it's awesome to see from like a fan's perspective, and from being in a band and getting these opportunities. It's just been awesome.
As a fan, not only are we friends with a bunch of those bands, but as a fan of those bands, it's really cool to see bands like that making such huge moves and knowing that it's possible. Because same thing with him. Like we try not to expect anything. Like we never go into a tour or a situation expecting a certain amount of people to show up or a certain amount of people to care or expecting some kind of reward or anything like that. So I always let it surprise me when anything that special happens, like playing Coco or getting offered Warped Tour or something like that. Grass Pop, yeah. Just like, like stuff that still like blows my mind to this day. Like I'm still freaking out about things that we did a year and a half ago. So the fact that it's all happened and that it was all attainable in the first place is amazing, but I like to pretend like it's not attainable, because in my when I was a kid, and I never thought I would be doing any of this. And now I'm just a bit of an older kid, and it's happening, which is awesome.
You've already played shows in the US with Every Time I Die. You're going to play another show later this year with Every Time I Die. How have those guys been for kind of you guys as a band and your careers? Like, they seem to be taking you out quite a lot, which is sick.
Yeah, they're really sick. This is actually our third tour with them so far this year. We did a full US with them in March, and then we did a full Canada with them last month, and then now Europe and the UK. And then, we're wrapping up the end of the year with their Christmas show in Buffalo. So it will be 67 shows with Every Time I Die this year, and it's been awesome. I mean, they've been like one of my favorite bands since like middle school. So the fact that like I can now call them my friends, it's been a great year.
It's been cool to see them. It's been cool to watch Every Time I Die in general for 67 days, because that band is so perfect. But it's been really cool to see a band that was such a big part of like me growing up listening to heavy music. Same with him, and be able to watch them and, you know, not just hang out, but also learn about the way that they do things, and just see them crush it every night is awesome. And in different countries, you know, since we've seen them in so many different places. And then Every Time I Die, one thing that I've learned throughout, you know, a lot of times with bands, you know, they play in different places and the show vibe is different depending on where you are. But in Every Time I Die show, no matter if there's like 1,500 people in a London show or like 100 people at a Canada show or anything in between, an Every Time I Die show is always a sick Every Time I Die show, like no matter what. And that's so cool to watch. Yeah.
You've been on tour pretty much non-stop. Like, you did Every Time I Die, you did Warped Tour, Every Time I Die again. Now you're here. You're going to Japan and Australia. Is that at the end of this year or start next? And then you're doing a US tour, headline tour with Jesus Peace supporting and Stone and Terror, two of the Pure Noise bands as well. Like, are you getting tired? Are you stoked? Are you trying to fit an album too right now? Are you?
I'm like, I'm like physically tired, but like mentally, we're all still ready to go. I mean, like we did a month in Canada. We were home for 5 days. We did a week in the States, and the next day we flew over here. So like we've been consistently on the road for like over 2 months now. So like physically, I'm like, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to put up a Christmas tree with my girlfriend. I'm ready to shop and like eat my mom's cooking. But like mentally, I'm like, I can't wait for us to get home
about the
and
next thing.
play. We've got like Every Time I Die's Christmas show. We've got Australia in January. Like, we've got so much stuff to look forward to. Like, we're definitely not slowing down.
It was always important. As soon as we collectively made the executive decision to start touring, like as soon as we started that, it feels like we've been on the road consistently for like 2 years now. Yeah. So it's never been like the most that we've taken off. We try to do something every season. So
our longest break in the last 3 years has been 3 months.
Yeah. So,
and that was to write laugh tracks.
Yeah. So it's important for us to not, even if it's hard sometimes, like physically or even mentally, it's important to keep it up. Just because that's the only way, we've always wanted to grind, since we started touring. That was always really important with us, and we thought important to us, and we thought that was, that's the way that you get out there, is to consistently tour and put your music out there, and I think that that's still really important. So no matter what, I think that that's something that we're always going to be interested in doing.
And you guys are from Kentucky.
Yeah.
I think most people in the UK and Europe will probably only know the state because of fried chicken franchise. Yeah. Is there a hardcore scene there? Is there much of a scene, or is it kind of doing the band to kind of get on the road and see other places, or is it a bit of a mix of both?
There's an amazing scene in Louisville, and maybe not as large as some of the scenes on the coast or the bigger cities, but I think, we could both talk for ages about how amazing
it's a lot smaller and close knit. So we have if we have 200 kids show up to a show, it's the best the show can be, because it's just smaller where we're from, and that's just a fact. But everybody that comes knows how fragile it is. You know what I mean? Like knows how like all inclusive it is. You're a part of it, and you're a part of it for good. And it's just very much. Both of us are very big parts of the hardcore community back at home, and like we very much like being a part of it. Like when we're home, we're like seeing all these flyers from shows that we're missing on the road that are back at home, and like, I mean, obviously we would rather be touring, but like you're like, oh man, I wish I was seeing all these bands with my friends, and like we get home and like immediately just start going to shows. Like we're at like every single show that we can be at when we're at home.
That's it.
Yeah.
Everyone is so tight knit too, in a scene like where we are, because the city is smaller and the scene is smaller. You know, venues are smaller. You know, or there's just not as many. Like we have one main venue back at home. Everyone kind of knows each other, and everyone's friends with each other. So it's kind of like just a really close knit group of friends that are just seeing shows all the time. And that's how we started going to shows, started making bands, and we just ended up. And I ended up here playing in the UK tonight. But yeah, I could talk forever about how proud we are and how amazing the scene is back at home. But it's also cool to be out here doing this and spreading the word about back home and how cool it is.
That is cool. I feel like those kind of scenes are so vital for like bands to come out of. Pretty much every great band you'll see, they go, oh yeah, we came out of a great scene. There were so many other bands from out of town that could have made it. It was just us that did.
I think it's really important for people to get involved in their local scene, like whether they're trying to start a band or not. Like heavy music is such a like weird like subculture that like it relies on participation to exist. You know what I mean? Like it relies on people like you that do interviews, and like you for Manchester are giving all these people that tune into your YouTube channel an opportunity, like an inside look at bands that they might like, or Cam, the guy who put on the show, like to bring bands through the city. Like we have friends at home that like we have a friend that literally like he owns the PA that we use for sound system. He books all the shows and he prints all kinds of bands merch. Like it's like a full-time job for people at home that just contribute to the Louisville hardcore scene. And like that's important or it's just going to fade away. You know what I mean?
And you must be thinking about your second album now. Surely like maybe starting to write, maybe starting to think about recording. Any news on that or?
Anything you can No, I mean, like, we've been asked this a couple times, and every single time we do the same thing. We're just slowly figuring it out. We're slowly getting to the point where we're trying to experiment and find out where our sound is for the next record. Some writing has been done. I don't know if it's all going to make the next record, but we're in the phase where there's other things on our mind, like the headliner, for example, but next year is going to be a big year for Knock Loose, especially starting with the headliner, and it's going to be the start of a lot of new things and a lot of new sounds, and I think that right now we're just trying to figure out where the band is musically so we can start to actually hit it hard with writing the next record. So yes, obviously we don't have anything close to like a date or anything like that, but it is in our heads for sure.
And we're not gonna like change who we are as a band. We're just like growing and maturing as a band, and we're learning all these new things on the road. So like there's definitely like steps we want to take to make our music better to us, and hopefully people like that as well. But that's what he means by just like experimenting, seeing like what else we can do within the boundaries of the sound that we've kind of toned in on with laugh tracks. And just like, I don't know, write a record that we like.
Yeah.
That's like priority number one, is just writing a record that we like, and I just really hope that other people like it too.
From the demo, like from pop culture to laugh tracks, like anyone who's heard it knows that, oh yeah, like that's that band, but obviously that record and the next, pop culture versus laugh tracks, it's like a whole night and day kind of thing. It's still a heavy band, but it's, and we're trying to always make that jump to another record. We're trying to raise that ceiling and try to, still be, an obnoxiously heavy band, but try to, find out more ways to do so, I guess.
Yeah.
I think you look at someone like Code Orange, who always were kind of that heavy band and then just took it to like a different space, is a good example of a band that have done that. How much has being on tour, like Warped Tour with so many different bands, so many different genres, and bands like Every Time I Die have done like 8 incredible albums, how much does that kind of influence your songwriting for the next album?
Every Time I Die constantly influences me. Like, I mean, every tour we've done with them, their set list is different, and every time they throw a different song in, I'm just like, oh my God, I forgot how good that song is. Like, I can just revisit their discography and just be impressed like it was the first time I heard it. As far as Warped Tour, like, I don't know. I stuck to my friends, and like I made a lot of new friends, it opened my eyes about a lot of new bands that I didn't know that I would have liked, like Boston Manor. Like, really like that band, but like I don't see us drawing any inspiration from Boston Manor's music. But I mean, I always try to be inspired, always try to be open-minded, and not just shut anything out just for the sake of like what it might be classified as if it's out of my comfort zone.
Well, I look forward to hearing new material. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the UK again soon, but I'm so stoked for the show tonight. Please play Counting Worms. And thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to Start Riot if you enjoyed the video. If you haven't heard Laugh Tracks, then I don't know why you watch all this interview, but definitely check it out. Not Loose are incredible. They're on tour in the US early next year, also in Japan, Australia with 4 Year Strong, is that right?
Yeah.
Sick. Get down to a show and see them, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.